The life of a rookie quarterback in the NFL is always challenging. And it's even more difficult when that rookie quarterback has to go back-to-back weeks against Hall of Fame quarterbacks. That was the case for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, and it didn't get any easier for him in Week 7 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm Bryan Perez from the Draft Network, here to recap Justin Fields' performance on Sunday. Much like last week when Fields fell to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, the first-round pick in the 2021 NFL Draft didn't stand much of a chance against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fields completed 22 of 32 passes for 184 yards, and he threw 3 interceptions, also lost 2 fumbles, for a total of 5 turnovers on Sunday, which, to be honest, weren't all his fault. If you watched the game, you know the story. Justin Fields was harassed from the first snap until the final whistle. His offensive line had one of its worst performances of the season in terms of pass pressure. He just had no chance. Every time he dropped back to throw the ball, it seemed like there were 2 or 3 or 5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers defenders in his face. And the resulting box score is a pretty accurate result of assessment of his day. He just wasn't very good. He was off target when he had time to throw, and the biggest problem for Bears fans right now is the fact that Justin Fields might be starting to see some ghosts in the pocket. Look, we've seen this happen to many promising quarterbacks in the past. Guys who come into the NFL with high draft grades, who end up on less than talented teams, and they end up suffering from playing behind terrible offensive lines in an offensive system that maybe doesn't fit their skill set, and they end up washing out of the league. I mean, the most famous example of this is probably David Carr many years ago with the Houston Texans when he was behind arguably the worst offensive line in NFL history, and he got sacked so many times that he was never able to recover and become a productive NFL quarterback. And look, we're way too early to say that that's happening with Justin Fields right now, but the reality is he's beginning to look a little bit shell-shocked. His passes are sailing high, they're off target, he's not in sync or in rhythm with his receivers, and that's what happens when the timing is off, when the pass rush is in your head, when you're starting to sense those, like I said, those ghosts in the pocket. The quarterback with all the blue chip talent, with the high-ranking scouting report, the first-round grade, starts looking like a very pedestrian player. And it's not that Fields looked that bad on Sunday against the Buccaneers, but when you see the guy across from him, Tom Brady, and how cool, calm, and collected he is, even against the talented Chicago Bears defense, you really begin to respect, even more than you may have before, what makes great quarterbacks truly great. And look, Justin Fields is a long way from being anywhere near the panic button. There's nothing for Bears fans to be overly concerned about right now. And if you look at his post-game press conference after this loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this dude has an A+ mental makeup. He has rare mental makeup when he was at the press conference saying essentially that players can go one of 2 directions after a loss. You can give up, throw in the towel, and say essentially you're not cut out for this game, or you can get back to work and get better for next Sunday. And Justin Fields obviously said that's the direction he's going to go in, and he's not going to let himself get angry or upset over the results in the blowout loss to the Buccaneers. And it was a blowout loss. It was about as bad as it can get for the Chicago Bears, about as bad as it can get for Justin Fields. And now back-to-back weeks, getting torn down by Aaron Rodgers and the hated Green Bay Packers, and just not even looking like he belonged on the same field with Tom Brady. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of the narrative start to bubble up around Justin Fields. We're still in this post-traumatic stress period of the Mitch Trubisky failed number 2 pick overall. So there's a lot of sensitive feelings in Chicago when it comes to first-round quarterbacks, and Justin Fields won't be immune to that. He's not going to be bulletproof to the criticism in 2021. But look, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can make everybody look silly and every opposing quarterback look less than starting caliber. So it's a bad moment for Fields, a bad loss for the Bears, but again, Justin Fields is the kind of player who Bears fans can continue to feel confident in. He did enough good things on the field on Sunday and even better things off the field after the loss to feel good about his trajectory moving forward, and that the Bears do have the right guy behind center, at least for now. Keep checking back to thedraftnetwork.com for all the latest NFL news and NFL draft analysis, and you can head over to Twitter and throw me a follow at Bryan Perez NFL. Thanks for checking in.